Welcome to Cinema Bites, your go-to for movie recaps in a flash. Big twists, epic moments, all in just minutes. The story Kung Fu Yoga begins thousands of years ago in the heart of Asia. The warrior Shiva, known as the King of Elephants, gathered a very large army and tried to take control of India and China. But fortunately, a legendary fighter named Wang Shu appeared and stood up to him. Wang resisted with all his might because he was a martial arts expert, but unfortunately he couldn't fight the elephants alone and was eventually surrounded. At that moment, an unknown fighter stormed the battlefield and saved him at the last moment. This fighter was a young Indian man named General Bhima. The two of them joined forces to defeat Shiva, the king of elephants. But in the middle of the battle, the treacherous Shiva took Bhima's form, but Wang saved him and returned the favor. After a while, the support vehicle finally arrived, so Wang and Bhima took the opportunity and escaped on their horses. The events then return us to the present with Dr. Jackie, the archaeologist, as he explains the story to his student. Jackie said that Wang and Bhima joined forces and managed to defeat Shiva, the king of elephants, in order to save India and China. As soon as the lecture ended, Jackie ordered his assistant Sue and his assistant Nomi to collect the artifacts he used in the explanation and clean his office. He also showed the students new technology that helps them restore artifacts to their original state. But suddenly, while Jackie was explaining to the students, the university director appeared and asked to speak with him privately. At first, Jackie didn't know what the director wanted, but he went to his office with his assistant Sue and his assistant Nomi. There, Jackie was surprised by a beautiful lady. This lady was from India, and her name was Ashmita. At first, Ashmita welcomed Jackie and his assistant. Then she said that the warrior Bhima, who helped Wang in the war against the king of elephants, was one of her ancestors and left her the map of the treasure. But the problem was that the map was completely destroyed and she needed an archaeologist to help restore it. The university director told her that Jackie was very skilled and would be able to solve all her problems. Indeed, Jackie agreed to cooperate with Ashmita, and he and his assistants tried to recover the map using modern technology. The next morning, Ashmita, Sue, and Nomi gathered for breakfast, but Jackie said he needed to exercise first. Here we learn that Jackie is a very skilled kung fu master and has great physical fitness, to the point that he amazed Ashmita and her assistants with his incredible ability. Then the events moved to Jones Lee. Jones is Jackie's nephew and works as an explorer and treasure hunter, so Jackie asked for his help in exploring the map he got from Ashmita. Jones was happy because he loves his uncle and agreed to cooperate with him. He also met Ashmita and her assistant Kira and greeted Nomi and Zhu. Thus, Jackie assembled his special team and prepared to search for the treasure. After a while, Jackie's car and his team arrived at the North Pole because Jones was able to read the map and told them that the treasure was buried in that area. He also found a gold coin in the ice, and when Ashmita and her assistant Kira saw it, they knew that the treasure was in a nearby place and that they had to start searching as soon as possible. Indeed, Jones and Kira began searching with the help of Ashmita and Zhu, and after many hours, they finally reached the cave where the treasure was located. But the cave was closed off by a huge ice mountain, so Jones sent a robotic fish he invented himself to find another entrance. When Jackie understood from Jones and Kira what had happened to them, he said that he knew someone who could help in this situation. Jackie called his friend Jiang, but suddenly a group of wolves appeared and surrounded Jackie and his friends from all directions. So Jackie and Jones stood to scare them off, and Jackie asked his nephew if he still remembered the basics of kung fu he learned as a child. Jones asked to challenge him to prove his skill. At first, Jones showed his true strength and fought Jackie fiercely, but in the end, Jackie prevailed because he had great experience. When the two finished fighting, they returned to the rest of their friends, but they were surprised to find Jiang running from the wolves, so they all gathered together and threw snowballs at them to drive them away. At that time, in the Indian desert, Randall was hunting with his Randall is one of the descendants of Shiva, the king of elephants, and he knew that Ashmita had spoken to Jackie and was looking for the treasure, so he ordered his followers to reach her by any means. Meanwhile, Jiang was finally able to dig through the ice mountain and helped Jackie and his friends reach the cave where the treasure was located. At first, Jackie set out to search with Ashmita, while Jones and Kira discovered that there were people buried under the ice from thousands of years ago and realized that the treasure was nearby. Here, Zhu, Jackie's assistant, and Nomi managed to find one of the golden treasure boxes after a long search. At that moment, Jiang was surprised by a group of criminals who deceived him and entered the cave. These criminals attacked Zhu with weapons, and the gunfire almost caused an avalanche. Of course, Jackie and Ashmita were shocked by what happened, but as soon as they recovered, they were surprised to find Randall there. Randall told Ashmita that he had finally found her and would take the treasure for himself, but as soon as he touched the gold, Jackie said that all these artifacts must go to the government and that no ordinary person could take them for himself. Of course, Randall ignored him and ordered his followers to tie up Jackie and his friends and leave them to freeze to death. Jackie became very angry at his words and managed to trick one of the guards to start the attack. Although Jackie is a university professor and archaeologist, he is faster than the cold and incredibly strong, as he grabbed Randall's followers and defeated them. Here, we learn that Jones found a rare gem among the artifacts. Then he cleverly evaded all the criminals and climbed to the surface again, taking a fast sled to escape and save his life. Unfortunately, Randall won in the end and tied up Jackie and his friends in the ice and left them to freeze. But luckily, Nomi, Jackie's assistant, is skilled in yoga and was able to free herself from the ropes due to her high flexibility and released everyone. Then Jackie and Ashmita trapped themselves and started diving to reach the surface. But while they were underwater, Jackie suddenly ran out of breath and was about to lose consciousness, so Ashmita saved him at the last moment and brought him up for air so he could breathe again. In the end, Jackie survived and reached a nearby hospital to recover and regain his strength, but as soon as he sat to rest with Nomi, his assistant Zhu suddenly showed him that the rare gem Jones found was being sold at a very big auction in the Emirates. Indeed, Jackie and his friends headed to Dubai to attend the auction, and there, Jackie's friend said they would continue their mission after the camel race was over. Jackie thanked the prince who hosted him and began to think about how to recover the gem. After a while, Jackie's car arrived at the auction with his dear friend, and here we learn that Randall was also there to participate in the auction for the 100-carat gem. Jackie's friend bid $160 million and managed to win in the end. Of course, Randall exploded with anger because of what happened. Here we learn that Jones the waiter was also in Dubai and was happy because he sold the gem at the auction for $160 million. But Zhu and Nomi appeared and told him he was a traitor because he sold his country's artifacts for money and asked him to correct his mistakes. At that time, Jackie and his friend paid the money, and finally, they received the jewel. As they were leaving the building, a group of huge fighters surrounded them without warning and began to attack. These fighters were working for Randall, and their goal was to steal the jewel from Jackie and his friend. But luckily, Jackie bravely killed them and defended the jewel to his last breath. Unfortunately, the criminals outnumbered him and managed to turn the place into chaos, kidnapped the jewel, and ran away. The scoundrel Randall took the jewel and fled the scene quickly. Meanwhile, Jackie took the opportunity and jumped into the first car he saw to chase after that. At the same time, Jones, Zhu, and Naomi arrived, got into their own cars, and set off after them. While Jackie was in the car, he discovered it belonged to an animal transporter, and there was a ferocious lion inside. Of course, Jackie was shocked by this, and the chase between him and Randall intensified, with the police filling the streets. At first, Randall tried to get rid of Jackie and started smashing into cars, but Jackie was skilled and managed to avoid them all. Then, Jones's nephew also joined the chase and began to help him attack Randall's car. Indeed, Jones managed to snatch the jewel from Randall miraculously, but when he and Jackie tried to escape, suddenly an unknown girl on a motorcycle snatched the jewel from Jones's hand and disappeared within seconds. In the end, Randall sank his car in the river and cleverly tricked the police, while Jackie parked the car in a quiet place, feeling terrified of the lion with him. But luckily, his rich friend appeared and rescued him, and Jones at the last moment. Jackie's friend asked Jones to return the $160 million he had paid for the jewel, so Jones agreed and apologized for his actions. After a while, Jackie and his followers traveled to India because they received an invitation from an unknown person. As soon as they arrived at their destination, they were surprised to find themselves in a huge palace. Here we learn that the invitation was from Ashmita. Ashmita is a very rich Indian princess, but she didn't tell Jackie her true identity at first. She confessed that she was the girl who snatched the jewel from Jones and told Jackie that he must help her with her mission, because the jewel is just a key to the real treasure. Of course, Jackie agreed to her request and said they had to be careful of Randall because he is very dangerous and merciless. From the beginning, Ashmita welcomed Jackie in her palace and showed him the map she had after she repaired it and restored it to its original form. After some searching, Jackie said he knew the location of the treasure, but he needed to see a rare book to confirm. Indeed, Ashmita helped him find the book he was looking for, and in the end, they both managed to discover the location of the real treasure. At this time, Jones, Kira, Ashmita's assistant, and Naomi, Jackie's assistant, were wandering around the Indian market, watching magic tricks together and enjoying their time. But suddenly, A group of thugs sneaked up without being noticed and threatened them with weapons. Jones quickly confronted them, and they managed to trap one of the criminals with the big snakes. Here, we learn that Jackie and Ashmita arrived at the market and began to help their friends, but unfortunately, it was too late. The criminals overpowered Jones with weapons and kidnapped him and Kira. Of course, Jackie and Ashmita continued fighting to rescue them, but without success. After a while, Jackie went to Randall's house with the jewel to hand it over in exchange for Kira and Jones's freedom. But as soon as Randall saw him, he said he didn't need the jewel because it was just a key to the treasure. He needed Jackie's help because Jackie was smart and could solve all the obstacles he would face. He then showed him Jones and Kira, who were imprisoned among hyenas. Jackie was forced to agree to help him in exchange for their freedom. At this time, we learned that Zoo sneaked into Randall's house and found out where Jones and Kira were with Naomi's help. He reached the place where they were held and started throwing pieces of meat to distract the hyena. At first, Zoo's plan seemed like it would succeed, but in the end it failed because the hyenas smelled him and tried to eat him. When Zoo was cornered, he threw a knife to Jones so he could free himself, and Kira miraculously escaped from the cage. But they were still surrounded by hyenas and didn't know what to do. Jones said he would distract them, so Zoo and Kira could jump over the wall safely. Indeed, Jones started implementing his plan, and although the hyenas were fast and very fierce, in the end, the three friends managed to jump over the wall and escape with their lives at the last moment. At this time, Randall forced Jackie and Ashmita to help him until they reached an abandoned temple and said the treasure might be inside. Randall ordered his men to storm the place. As soon as they entered, Jackie searched the room carefully, then took the rare jewel and placed it in the center of a dark chamber, waiting until sunlight hit it. At first, Jackie noticed that the reflected light from the jewel touched a stone in a secret spot, and when he pressed the stone, a set of strange symbols appeared on the ground. Of course, Randall was shocked and asked Jackie to solve the puzzle. Jackie began pressing the stones in a certain order until the floor suddenly opened, and he and Ashmita fell onto a pile of huge branches. They were also surprised by poisonous snakes, but Jackie used his legendary martial arts skills and managed to save Ashmita miraculously. In the end, Jackie led Randall and his men to the center of the temple until they reached a giant palace made of pure gold. Of course, everyone was amazed by the palace and began to explore it. But suddenly Jackie noticed that Randall and his men wanted to dismantle the place to sell it. Jackie refused and started fighting them. Here, we learn that Jones and the rest of the friends entered the cave too and joined the fight. At first, Jackie fought with all his might because the palace belonged to everyone and Randall couldn't take it for himself. Over time, Jackie managed to defeat the criminals with the help of his friends until he was left alone with Randall and started fighting him one-on-one. At first, they were evenly matched because Randall was very strong and skilled in Indian martial arts. But over time, Jackie studied his moves and began to hit him in the leg until he weakened him and made him unable to fight. Then, he and Ashmita tricked him and defeated him in the end. And that was the summary of the movie. Subscribe to